Hi, everyone. Jen Logis for One Degree Capital. I want to talk with you this morning, and today is Monday, May 20th. I want to talk with you this morning about the next tranche of payroll protection funds. A couple things that you as a business owner would consider doing this morning that we want to get to, and also want to give you some perspective on kind of what's going on and what we're hearing. Again, our goal here is to bring you the latest, help you kind of cut through the noise and know what to be focusing on for your particular business. Okay, so for this next tranche of funds that they're talking about, the two things to do this morning is be strategic and on two key things. One is to choose where you're going to apply for these funds. And again, this is assuming that you don't already have your payroll protection application completed and approved. So choose where you're going to apply for these funds, get your documents ready, and get that application submitted. So what's going on? Let me give you some perspective on these numbers. So the first time around, so kind of big picture, keep in mind, there's 30 million small businesses in the country. Now, out of that, about 6 million of those businesses actually have payroll. The rest would be sole proprietors, independent contractors, that type of thing, but still very large numbers. When the payroll protection program came about, there were about 1.6 million businesses that received the original tranche of funds, which was about 350 billion. Now, those funds at 350 billion was allocated in just 13 days. The funds were depleted. Congress is talking about adding another 370 billion. That's at least the number that they're talking about over the weekend. Again, none of this is signed, and look for it could possibly change, but that's the number that they're working with right now. So roughly the amount that they were looking at before. They are talking about doing some specific carves outs for different industries, for geographic areas that are maybe underserved, for minority businesses. All of that is there's still movement on that. So look for that to change. But by and large, we're looking at about the same dollar amount. The challenge is, again, last time it took about 13 days to go from 0 to 1.6 million businesses. The challenge is that when those funds got turned off, there were already about 800,000 businesses that had completed applications that were up in the queue to be approved by SBA, but that didn't get approved because funds ran out. So when the switch gets turned back on, those 800,000 applications will be the first ones to go through and get the approval again. So before, when you went from 0 to 1.6 million in loans in 13 days, right out of the gate, we're not starting at 0, we're starting at 800,000. So you can imagine that the allocation, if they're talking about roughly the same amount of funds, these funds are going to disappear much, much faster than they did before. So if you weren't able to get the funding from before, you need to really, especially this morning, be working on, have a plan, find out where you're going to be applying, get the application, everything, all of the materials together, so that there is no delay when the funds are turned back on for you. Now, speaking of last time, there were some lessons that were learned from last time. Some of them were very tough lessons for both the lenders and for some of the business owners. Those who did not utilize SBA preferred lenders by virtue of not being able to. So if the bank that you work with was not an SBA preferred lender, or you wound up having to go through a non-bank for the source of funds, there were a lot of those businesses that faced rejections of their applications because their files were not submitted correctly. One of the largest non-bank sources had a significant number of their applications rejected for simple issues like the Social Security number wasn't entered incorrectly. The CEO had to issue a public apology. Those applications were rejected. They went to the back of the queue, and ultimately they weren't able to get an approval for the funds before the funding ran out. Huge, huge issue. You want to make sure that the business that you're working with, the bank, wherever you're getting these funds, where you're going through your application, make sure that they're communicative, make sure that they ideally are already a preferred lender and not one of the brand new ones that's just now learning the SBA system. That's a hard lesson to learn. It was very, very difficult for a lot of businesses that got stuck without having funds that they thought they were going to have now. The other thing that I'm seeing, and we're actually seeing some of these emails coming out too, there's emails from some large, well-known, I'm not going to name names, but there's some well-known companies that are sending some emails out there that are giving you very simplified ways to complete your application with them. And they're saying they can complete the application with you in just minutes. Now, reading through the fine print of, again, I got one of these this morning, reading through the fine print of what they're saying is complete your application with us in minutes so that we can submit your application to the SBA if we are able when additional funds become available. Why are they saying that? Because they're not able to submit yet. They're not on that SBA list. They're not a bank. They're not an FDIC insured institution. They're not on that list that they're able to do those. Yet here they are asking all these businesses to come to them and to submit their applications through them. It's a false sense of security. Be very, very clear on wherever you're submitting your application that they are active in the system. They're actively able to submit applications. These funds are going to go very quickly. You do not want to be delayed by someone who's collecting applications to hold on to them in the hopes that they'll be able to submit applications in for you. So wherever you go, first question to be asking them, are you actively submitting applications to the SBA? Ask them about their track record the last time. How many applications did they receive? What percentage of those were approved? Did they have any kicked back that were rejected, and why were they rejected? These are things that you need to know, again, because timing is of the essence. Many of the lenders who were accepting these applications before, they are accepting applications right now, even though the funds are not available. They are getting those queued up so that when the funds do get turned back on, they're able to get those into the system very quickly. Again, this is another reason why we expect these funds to go very, very quickly once this comes out. Before, if you remember, when the program was launched, there still was a little ambiguity on what exactly was needed to apply. That all is gone now. Everybody knows what's needed. So this is going to go quickly. So to recap, just make sure that you have a plan today for your business. If you were not able to get a payroll protection program loan the last time, have a plan, have it in place today. Know where you're going to get those funds and start gathering your documents together. If you need help, if you don't have a source for that, give us a call here. We can help guide you in the right direction. Again, we hope this information is helpful as things become more readily available this week, as the program evolves and we start to learn more. We will continue to bring you these videos. We hope you find them helpful. We hope you're able to get your business on some solid footing so that we can all get back to normal as soon as possible. We'll keep you informed on the latest updates. And if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, please hit subscribe, and that way you'll be sure to stay informed. In the meantime, as always, stay well and God bless.